right, good afternoon, folks. This is Ferris with Trade with Tex, and today we're going to be talking about a couple of chart setups that I'm looking at going into the upcoming week, right? So we'll discuss the S&P. We will also talk about a few momentum plays that could help you on the short-term side of things, okay? Now, if you want more educational videos, we do have some on the channel, right? So feel free to like and subscribe. If you want more real-time alerts and the educational side of things, you can jump into the Trade with Tex chat for a free week. Okay, so that link is in the description. It's just tradewithtex.com/sign-up. And you don't need a credit card, nothing. You get the screen share audio, all that good stuff. Okay, either way, let's talk about some of the chart setups because again, the point of these videos are to help you guys make money along with us. All right, now, first things first for the S&P, before we get into the momentum plays, we went back to the all-time high, right? And that's what was expected here. We went from kind of a doomsday candle here a few weeks back to this candle a week ago, which basically told us that we were going back to the all-time high, right? Basic rule of thumb, if we use the fibs here, right, we're not gonna go over that in this video, but if you're in the chat, you know what I'm talking about. If we use the fibs here, this candle confirmed a revisit to the all-time high, and that's exactly what we got, okay? So now that we've made that move, it's all about closing prices, right? And the tough part is actually that the closing price from last week, although it was bullish, was not a clear signal of another leg up. Now, we are expecting another leg up. We're expecting the next target to hit up at 45.78. Okay, this is the weekly time frame. I'll zoom it in now just to show you guys. So 45.78 and some change will be the next target above. And the short-term resistance here is 45.43.25. That held us down on Thursday, that held us down on Friday again, and that's going to end up being the big level going into next week, okay? Now, you know what to look for on the long side, right? Basically, if we break through this level here, 45.43, then we should be able to get to the target, okay? The thing you got to understand about this upcoming week is that basically we had a huge win streak, right? The S&P just kept closing higher, and those closing prices were telling us that we were moving up. And then Friday, we have a pretty misleading candle because it looks like it's very bearish, but we're technically still closing within this Thursday range, right? Which basically means that the key levels from that Thursday are going to be a big deal moving forward, right? And on top of all of this, we have earnings, we have the Fed on Wednesday, right? And this is after Powell dumped things back down on Friday. So frankly, I think we're clear Monday, Tuesday until Wednesday, and then that's going to be up in the air based off of what Powell says, right? And remember, during his most recent speeches, the markets have sold off. Even if it's just 0.5% to 1%, that's something to be aware of, right? That's Wednesday afternoon, okay? Now, as I mentioned, 45.43 is a key break for another push. For support, we have two support levels nearby, 45.24.25, and then 45.15.5. Okay, now let me zoom it into the hourly. We're just working our way from weekly to daily to hourly time frames. As you can see, this was the dump that I was talking about when Powell was talking on Friday, right? So we have him speaking on Wednesday again, but this ended up bottoming out at the 45.15 area. Okay, so going into next week, this is the support along with this level right here. Any selling under here should take us back down to sub 4,500, all right, which is a good bit of downside actually. But basically, as long as we are able to hold 45.15, we should just keep retesting this level for a potential break to the upside. Okay, so those are the four levels that I'm looking at. Those are the nearby ones. We have obviously a couple of more, as you can see on this chart, but those are the main ones that I'm going to be focused on. So basically a make or break of this range right here. Okay. Now, for the momentum plays, we're actually not going to talk about the DWAC craziness from last week, although it was a lot of fun. A lot of money to be made there, but the number one job that you have as a trader is adapting, right? So you have to realize that a lot of these stocks are leave and play, and it's best that you focus your attention and energy somewhere else, right? So for me, the couple of momentum plays that I'm looking at, believe it or not, I'll just write it down on the screen here, AUPH, Pinterest, even after that Snapchat earnings report, I'm still going to watch Pinterest. And then XLU and XLV for potential swing trades. and I say swing trades, but mostly for these stocks, it's been buy in the afternoon, right? Because these are ETFs. Buy in the afternoon or on any morning weakness, and then sell at the targets the next day. So within less than 24 hours. So I say swing trade for these, but it's technically an overnight hold. It's really just a faster trade. Okay. Now for AUPH and Pinterest, AUPH, you guys definitely know this stock, right? Just a crazy mover. And on Friday, it had this spike. There's some buzz that they're going to get bought out, which, to be honest, is not the most ridiculous thing. That is a very realistic possibility here. So AUPH, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. All I'm going to show you is where the supply and demand is on this chart and how exactly we can play that to our advantage. Okay, so it spiked up, and the company that's supposed to buy it out, right, Bristol Myers, is reporting this week. So typically that means, they report Wednesday. We should be able to get decisive movement Monday, Tuesday, right? And that means that this stock easily could go for the next leg, but it's got to do something very specific here. So this is the 15-minute, right? It had basically halted at the end of the day on the spike and then flagged up at 31. Okay, so it's really easy here because AUPH, you might look at this chart and go, oh my God, what a no-brainer short. But you don't want to play the short side if there's a potential buyout and if there's any strength, right? You only want to short on weakness here. So basically the note for AUPH is that if it can't break above 31, right, it should just immediately go back for the back test of 28. Any weakness under there puts it in play on the short side and out of play on the long side. Okay, so it's 28 and 31. But on the other side of things, early pre-market, if you have the ability to trade pre-market, any strength over 31 indicates a big move to the upside. Okay, so we have this tight little box here from 31 to 28. That's your make or break. Based off of which end of the range it picks here early on Monday, play that side. Okay, that way we're not going into it saying, oh my God, we can only go long. We're going to the moon. That's it. No risk. We're just sending it, right? That's a horrible mindset to have. Let price decide for you and then play it based off that. Okay, and we should be going back to the 24s if it cracks 28, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself here. I'm going to mainly look at the long side over 31. Okay, so that's the game plan for AUPH. Nice range. If you boil it down to just the basic facts here, a couple of bucks a range, you should be able to get 5 to 10% on these scalps. Just wait for price to decide. Okay, it's not sexy, but it gets the job done. All right. Now, for Pinterest, this is now kind of turning into a controversial stock. And as somebody who holds Pinterest long-term, really interesting action last week because we basically saw the PayPal catalyst come in, right? And we could talk about this all day. PayPal buying out Pinterest, what the price would be, whether it's realistic for it to happen. But ultimately, again, we let price decide. Now, the reason I'm pointing this out is because I did add to my long-term hold last week on that news. So I'm watching the long side mainly. I would love to see this thing set up again. Now, just to be clear, there is one level that is crucial here, right? That's 59.42. Okay? Anybody telling you otherwise on social media, they don't know what they're talking about. All right, it's 59.42. If it's able to hold above that and reclaim, easy, right? Free money, they're just handing it over to us. If not, expect it to tap these downside targets 57.51 and 55.50, okay? Now, my game plan is not to play this short, right? I don't intend to do that. I'm just showing you some support levels that could provide a base moving forward, right? But ultimately, what I would like to play is the break back above 59.42, okay? For a push back up at least to 62.15, okay? And we're not talking catalyst here at all because if you want to play the PayPal card, right? Oh yeah, PayPal is going to buy them out. It's at least an $80 stock, whatever. That's fine, okay? But you can't really do that with Snapchat and that whole iOS earnings debacle that happened on Friday, right? Basically, Apple changed their privacy policy, so any social media company that makes a decent amount from mobile ads will take a hit, right? So Pinterest dumped, Twitter dumped, Snapchat dumped. And in this case, I would still like to play it on strength, but we need the confirmation above 49.52. Or sorry, 59.42. Okay? So actually, I'm going to change this alert up. That's a little bit off of what I would like it to be at. Okay, 59.42, set the alert, wait for the confirmation. If so, it should be a free few bucks here. Okay? If it doesn't confirm, these are the two support levels. All right? So two momentum stocks that both have conditional statements here, right? A needs to happen in order for B to happen. Okay? So be patient, set the price alerts, watch them closely. All right? Now, for XLU and XLV, these are slow sector ETFs. So this is the part where those of you that just want a quick buck are going to close out the video and say, those are too slow for me. I can't make money on them. But those of you that are smart and realize that the boring tickers are the most lucrative, this is where we thrive, right? So for XLU, what I wanted to point out for both of these charts actually, XLU is crossing over key moving averages here, right? It is also signaling a move all the way up to the 69.30 area. Right? So basically, the issue that we have here is we have some short-term resistance, 67.29 and 67.93, or sorry, not 0.93, 67.51. Okay? Any strength above that zone is a no-brainer. It's going to take it into the next leg. If we pull back, the key area to watch here, and this is what I'm looking for primarily, is 66.36. Okay? It's a historical support level. It is a key moving average support on multiple time frames. This right here, again, is the optimal buying zone. So for the other plays, I set price alerts. I was waiting for this one. An ounce of strength, an ounce of weakness gets us in, right? So very likely to be pulling the trigger on this one Monday, Tuesday. I'm just going to play the prices right here and be patient, right? Wait for the right price. Okay? Now again, 67.29 is the key break that you want to see for the next leg. And then 66.36 is the dip buy zone. And I'll be buying time, right? That's my game plan. Realistically, if you're playing options, go 1 to 2 weeks out for this expiration. And then if you're playing common stock, you can just get common stock and be more patient. Okay? But target overhead is all the way up in the 69s. That should take 1 to 2 weeks, so you got to be patient. But currently, it's flashing that buy signal, so I'll be looking for the setup Monday, Tuesday. Okay? And last but not least, XLV, which is the healthcare ETF. Just mentioning that it has some pretty heavy resistance above that it's signaling a move to, but most of the healthcare names are actually showing a ton of strength, right? So basically, I picked one in the group. I picked Pfizer to look at because we have this great weekly rotation up. But whether you play XLV or Pfizer, XLV is signaling a move to at least 132.25. Okay, that's a healthcare ETF. And then Pfizer specifically is signaling a move up to here. Let me show you. 43.74. Okay, so for both of these, they really can only be played with options, in my opinion, but still pretty opportunistic setups, and they still have a little bit more upside before we see a pullback. Okay, so healthcare and utilities for the swing trades, that's what I'm looking at. For momentum, Pinterest, and AUPH. Okay, got to wait for confirmation there. So ultimately, going into this week, it's not just a bunch of plays that are already confirming. It's going to require a very specific type of action Monday, Tuesday to get us into a lot of these and to make some money on them. Okay, so don't jump the gun. Set your price alerts, let those decide for you, and then play. All right, and if you guys enjoyed the video, I'm going to wrap it up here. Make sure you check out the channel. Again, this is not an educational video, but we do have a lot of educational content. And final reminder here, trials for the free week start today. Okay, so basically, you sign up for the free trial, you get in tonight, and you're good for the week. Okay? But on that note, hopefully you guys enjoy your Sunday afternoons. I will see you in chat on Monday. All right? Have a good weekend, folks.